Fluently speaking in front of others is a dream for most of us. Even I have heard this question from so many people asking me from where exactly you have started speaking English, what are the things that you have practiced before start speaking, and even if they wanted to start speaking in English, what are the things that they can do. And if you have these type of questions in your mind, I'm going to answer for those questions in detail from my experience in this video. Before that, as usual, if you're new to this channel, my name is Verlin from Target Nurse Academy. Let's begin. First of all, if I ask you, do you like fluently speaking English? You would say that yes. Again, if I ask another question, could you do it right now for me? You'd be saying that no by resisting and having a lot of reasons. First one can be grammar. See, some of you may think that I don't know about the grammar, or else I'm not confident enough with my grammar. That is why I feel it's difficult to speak English. Or else even some of you may think that I don't have confidence enough to especially speak in front of others. I know a lot of things, but when I'm about to talk in front of others, the words are not coming out of my mouth. This is the main problem. And even some of you may think that it's because of the language itself. I don't know what to speak exactly in English, or else how to speak English. So likewise, we can have a varieties of reasons. Among these, the first one, grammar. That is not that much important to speak English. We have made a detailed video on this. If you are new to this channel, the link is in the description below. You can watch that video to get a better understanding about the grammar and its perspectives, so that you can understand grammar is not that much important to speak English. The second thing is confidence, which can be developed only if you know something and if you practice well enough to speak in front of others. And the third thing being, so about the English language, see, we have a long exposure to English. Even if I ask you to name the objects which is around you, mostly you would name everything in English. It can be a TV, or else light, or else mobile phone, or else even a floor, book, everything. If I ask you to name, mostly the instant word would come in English from your mouth, but still most of you may feel like difficulty in speaking English, especially. See here, even I had these difficulties when I start speaking English. By following certain steps, I could overcome this problem, and today in this video, I'm going to share with you those particular steps. Especially, it's a 4 steps method. The first step is having a strong why. Meaning, see, if you start speaking English, or else if you want to speak English, you should have a strong desire or strong reason. This is why I need to speak English. If you're a student, you can have reasons like I want to talk well in front of my friends, or else I should participate in competitions where I should be able to present or describe the things properly in English, or else it can be for the interview purpose. Can be many reasons. And if you're a teacher, to take better lessons, or else to project yourself confident in front of the students, or can be a varieties of reasons. And if you're a healthcare professional, especially working in hospital, here it can be to describe, or else to talk something with a patient, or else to describe about something with your colleagues, or else with your doctor. Likewise, in your workplace, to show that you are proficient in this language, for which you may need to know, or else you may need to speak this language fluently. This can be your reason. Likewise, have a proper strong why. This is something really important, because English is vast, so we cannot learn everything at a single stretch. So it needs a lot of practice and the time to learn the things, but for which we need to have a starting point. For that, you can have an idea, this is the purpose, that's why I'm going to learn English. And the second thing is, after that, after identifying the reason, you should imagine the scenarios where you're going to use this particular language. Initially, when I start like speaking English, especially I was a teacher, so that I had to teach a lot of things to the students. I had to handle a lot of scenarios. I'd be imagining everything. So before going into the class, I'd be like imagining that these are the things that I'm going to handle. Like I'm going to talk to the students, I'm going to introduce myself, I'm going to ask these questions. Like likewise, I'd be imagining the particular scenario. Similar to that, you can just have an imagination about where you are going to speak this particular language and what are the things, or else what are the situation can arise on that particular day. You can have a like little bit understanding or else idea about it, so that you can be prepared for that. The third thing is knowing what to say or else how to say. Here, this is the important thing. Most of us may think that, see, I have studied English over my school period or else college days. So many things I know in English. But the thing is, I couldn't speak the things properly, especially fluently in front of others, or else I couldn't convey my imagination or thoughts properly. Here, the thing is, if you don't know, or else if you haven't practiced the thing properly, or else if you don't know exactly how to say the thing properly, definitely we cannot be fluent enough. Even if you consider our mother tongue, initially, when we started speaking, definitely we might have made a lot of mistakes. But after making the mistakes and after start speaking only, we could come at this situation where you can fluently convey everything. So similar will be applicable for English as well. Here, what you have to do is, so after imagining the scenario, think that first I'm going to enter into the class and then I'm going to introduce myself and then I'm going to ask a student to introduce themselves, or else after the session I'm going to describe about the class or else what has happened during the whole session to my colleagues. Likewise, having the imagination is important. After imagining, you just need to describe the phrases in your mind. Like, first, this is how I can introduce myself. For example, my name is this, likewise. Or else, this is how I can greet the student. Likewise, whatever the scenarios that you are going to face, among those, what are the sentences can be exactly used, just prepare all those sentences and practice in your mind. Even internet is really helpful for us, like ChatGPT and other AI related stuffs, which is really helpful for us to learn exactly how to say certain things. And even if you have the idea in your mind that this is what I'm going to say, you can check with the help of those tools that whether those things are correct or not. So initially, when I started learning this language, I exactly used Google Translate first to know the meaning of certain things and the sentence constructions. And I used to watch TED videos a lot. They are mostly, you would expect speaking or else explanations in English, especially by native speakers, so that from their expressions we can learn a lot of things. Even I could do that in the beginning stages. And in your case, if you like watching movies or else watching some type of videos, just do that in English so that you can have the understanding about how they are describing the things properly. You can take notes of that. You can practice them later so that you can be fluent in English. Even this is the third step. Like, in short, if I want to say, just you need to learn whatever the things that you're going to apply in a specific situation, that is important. The final thing is practice. Practice is something really important, or else practice is the key to learn something new. So this is something like a famous quote, and it's really true. Why? Because most of us, what they do is, like, see, after watching the videos or after learning a lot of things, we would be writing down everything and we will not start speaking. Without that, definitely we cannot be fluent enough. Even think about a child. Even though, like, if we teach a child a lot of things in like immediately or else during the childhood days, if the child starts to speak, definitely there will be a lot of mistakes. And even that you can observe, if a new person or else if a non-native English person starts to speak your particular language, definitely initially it would be fun for us when we hear, but that is something like a fact. These are the steps that they need to go through, by which only they can be fluent enough. Why? Because in like during the initial days, if we start speaking, definitely our mouths are not like practiced to make particular type of sounds. So that is the reasons we feel stumble or else we feel not confident enough to speak this language. But the thing is, if you practice consistent enough, definitely you can be fluent in this particular language. Even here, when we give the OET training, so immediately when the students join, so we will take the introduction sessions and all. And after having the introduction session, during the first speaking session, most of it would start speaking by saying the sentence that my name is this, I am one of the registered nurses working in this particular facility. But first day when they are about to say this particular sentence, most of the students make mistake. But if they do the same for a long period of time, after practicing for 2 weeks, 3 weeks or 4 weeks, definitely they will not make that much amount of mistake. So what I'm trying to convey here is, knowing the thing is really important, and after knowing, you just need to practice. Even initially, when I start explaining the things, what I would do is, I would rehearse everything in my mind before entering into the class. So I would be like rehearsing everything, saying multiple times the same phrases and expressions in my mind before describing the same in front of the students. Even like before going into the class, like or else before the previous day to the particular session. So I'll be practicing, I'll be explaining everything by my mouth, so that next time or second time, third time when I'm about to explain the same thing, I'll be really fluent enough. Even this is something important. Why? Because see, first time it's really difficult for us to speak in front of others or else even speak by ourselves. But if you imagine the same scenario happens after 10th time or 15th time or else 5 times later, you'd be far like further than the place where you exactly started. So what I'm trying to convey here is practice is something really important. Initially when you are starting off, you may not feel that much confident enough to speak in English, but the thing is, after starting, after practicing for a period of time, definitely that confidence will develop. So here the next important factor being, do all these steps properly, repeatedly on a consistent basis. Some students, what they would do is they would practice for a day in a week, and then they will not even open the book or else they will not even go to this particular site. And again, if any specific events happens, the on that particular day they will get that motivation to come back and practice again. This step will not work, especially in the case of English. So here what exactly you have to do is, you just need to practice on a consistent basis. That is really important. Even if it is 5 minutes or 10 minutes a day, that will be really helpful for you to be fluent or else to communicate well in this language. And the most important problem that we face is starting to speak in English. Meaning, so we know a lot of things, but the thing is, when there is a situation, we feel it's difficult to speak or else we most of the time we don't express ourselves in English. But what you have to do is, this is what we have to eliminate, or this is what you have to overcome. Initially even I had this problem, but what I would do is that I know the 5th time or else the 10th time would be far better than the first time, right? So starting is something really important. Even if you feel it's difficulty or it's difficult to do it in the beginning, definitely do it or else start this. When you do it consistently after like for 5 times or 10th time, after that definitely you will feel enough confidence to speak in this particular language. Hope this video would be helpful for you too. If you have any other queries or any doubts related to English, specifically related to healthcare, definitely you can put it in the comment section below. We are really happy to make video on this to keep you educated. That's all for today, and if you want to know more about the courses that we offer at Target Nurse Academy, as usual you can contact this number. See you soon in the next video. Bye bye.